This is Dave Esposito on March 18th, 2021. And it's been a little while since I've put anything out. I've been kind of like feeling under the weather for about the last month. And I'm not quite sure what it is. Some dizziness. I'm 68 years old. I'm dizzy and nauseous some of the time. I haven't made an appointment with the doctor yet, but I've been trying to kind of work it out. And unfortunately, one of the problems so far has been I've not been sleeping very well. So 3 or 4 hours a night, and a lot of time just laying in bed, reading or listening to a podcast, sometimes getting up. And I had an experience last night that was interesting because I was waking up at 1:30 in the morning after going to bed around 9:30, really exhausted at 9:30, and got up at 1:30, got back into bed, listened to a hour-long podcast and finished that, and just knew I was going to have trouble falling asleep even after that. And one of the things that kept going through my mind was maybe, I'm 68. I wonder how much more time I have left. I was thinking about, and maybe I'm dying. Maybe this last month has been some sort of prologue, I don't know. So it was kind of on my mind, but then I realized it really wasn't on my mind all that much, and was that kind of strange. And, the more I thought about it, the more it kind of dawned on me that, really, it should be on my mind. It is the most, not that I'm sick necessarily, but just because I'm older now and, things can happen. They can happen anytime. I think I'll go on for another 10 or 15 years, but I have no way of knowing, obviously. And I thought, you shouldn't minimize just how terrifying the whole experience of dying will be. And I'm not necessarily talking about the physical aspects of it. I'm sure that won't be fun unless it's instantaneous or, there's some sort of accident or whatever. But I'm talking about just when you know that the end is coming, if you're in that mental state to be able to know, and I include now as part of that, then you're kind of like, maybe you better experience some of the terror like now. Maybe that would be a really good thing, smart thing to do, because it's so easy to minimize because you don't want to look at it. Today is today, tomorrow is tomorrow. But, it really is the most consequential thing that people have in front of them, no matter when they're alive, no matter how old they are, but particularly as you get older. And I suppose it would be easier to kind of ignore it, but then, or try to ignore it, try to minimize it. But then what's keeping me awake at night? And I was thinking, could it even be that? Could it be that that's the elephant in the room? It's there, it's staring at me every night. The big black elephant, and what if I'm not paying heed to that, or just acknowledging it and experiencing whatever it is that I'm going to experience? And I tell you, I did that last night. I laid in bed and I felt terrified. The only way I could put it was that, you're terrified because it is a terrifying thing that will occur at some point. And I thought, what's better, to minimize it or to experience the terror? And I thought maybe it's better right now to see about experiencing it and just see what happens. And, I guess I laid there for about 20 minutes and I just sort of experienced the sense of the abyss in front of me. Or, to me, it was more like a tsunami gathering momentum, coming in my direction, piling up on the shore, getting higher and higher, and then just wham, just obliteration. And that that was as close as I could come to like visualizing metaphorically, I guess, like the experience of an individual dying. When the tsunami is running in the opposite direction, it's no problem. It's just going to be a few 100,000 people, somewhere else. I don't really mean that, obviously, but I did manage to fall asleep again. And I guess I slept from like maybe 4:30 to 6:30 in the morning. Then I got up and I really felt good. I felt wide awake. I, had a good day. I've been painting, physically feel pretty good. Don't have a lot of dizziness or anything, and not just a little nausea, but I'm kind of thinking about when this all started back around Valentine's Day. And it's been pretty consistently, that's what my days have been like. And so I do need to figure out medically what's going on, but I'm also viewing it as sort of another plateau, perhaps. And as I move toward, my lifespan being complete. And I know it probably sounds morbid, but I think there's something to be said for like just at least acknowledging the fact that it has to be acknowledged, and that it is the biggest thing in my life right now, and I would think anybody else in anywhere near my age group. And it's such an I think the dark of night, like they say, that's when these things perch on your shoulder and mess up your sleep. And so it's been an interesting experience to go through, to experience it. And I'm going to try to keep it in mind. I'm not going to dwell on it all the time. I don't want to make myself feel terrified, but when I am feeling this, maybe there'll be a week from now where I wake up and I'm just feeling like, God, I'm going to be dead in 15 or 20 years, tops. And that's just inconceivable. And then all the feelings that start to wash over you when you're alone and it's dark, and it's quiet, that's when it's time maybe not to run, but maybe to experience that sensation. And I'm hoping that in some way, I mean, it's kind of a stoicist type of way to deal with it, but perhaps it has a way of desensitizing, just the fact that you live with the uncomfortable nature of those thoughts, live with them for a while. Maybe that will be, it's not going to change anything from happening that's going to happen. Sure, it's when it actually comes on, it's going to be unbelievably terrifying, just like it is to just about anyone else who's conscious. I remember my own father when he was a day or two out from the end, my mother came to the rehabilitation center where he was, and he was in bed, and at that time he was extremely far gone with dementia. But I'll tell you, he roused himself when he saw my mother, and he just said in the clearest voice, I'll never forget it, "Angie, am I gonna die?" And he was terrified. His eyes were bugging out of his head. And she went over and she said, "Well, Joe, I don't know. I don't think so." Because she was also experiencing dementia, and she just took the question as a question and answered it. And then they spent time kind of hugging each other and everything. And sure enough, he was gone in 2 days. And, now he's, like they say, at rest, at peace. All his troubles are behind him. It's an amazing thing to be born and to live, and then to know that you're not going to keep on living, forever. And to me, I was saying to myself last night, the only real success you could ever have in life would be immortality. That really would be the only successful thing, ultimately, that you could live until you, if not live forever, at least for as long as you want to live. So maybe 250 years or 500 years. I would love to have that in front of me, and still have some mobility and, kind of the way I am right now would be fine. That would be a fine baseline. And then I would continue painting for the next 200 years and just, I don't know, try to experience more and more and try to do better in life and do better with people in particular, and make a difference, at least to some people, like you're doing now, but you'd like to kind of continue doing that because it's rewarding. Okay, well, I think that's enough for now. I'm going to get back to more thinking about painting. I've been thinking about painting a lot lately, and looking forward to talking and working through some thoughts I have about where I'm at this point, just philosophically about the whole experience of luckily having found art and having, years ago, but being a painter and viewing myself as very lucky to have that in my life, because it's a surprise every single time you do it. And let's face it, 68, 70 years old, in that range, how many surprises are there? That's why I feel lucky about art, about having art in my life.